Hello, 8th grade, and welcome to your first PowerPoint presentation on historical inquiry. You might remember the word inquiry from 6th grade when we talked about geographic inquiry, where we asked those questions, AAOAA, ask, acquire, organize, analyze, and answer. Well, now we're going to take that inquiry method and we're going to use it from a historical standpoint since we are learning about history this school year. In this lesson, we will begin to build the skills necessary for historical inquiry. Historical inquiry is the process of investigating questions about the past by analyzing evidence based on artifacts in order to make a claim or provide an explanation. You might remember last year how we discussed how artifacts could be linguistic or non-linguistic, meaning with writing or without writing, and you had to make a guess or a hypothesis about what this artifact could have been used for and by who and when. Engaging in historical inquiry requires the application of historical reading skills. In this first lesson, we are going to learn 4 historical reading skills that will help us become better historical investigators. In this video, we're going to go over the first 2, and in part 2, you will go over the second 2. Historical reading skills help provide a way to approach written documents with the lens of a detective, meaning you're going to think differently than you would as a student. You're going to put on a detective cap, very similar to Sherlock Holmes, and figure out what is going on with these specific documents. It allows you as the reader to be put in a position to question the origin or contents of this document, meaning where did this document come from? What does it hold? Why is it important? Reading in history is different than reading in other subject areas. The 4 historical reading skills we are going to discuss in this lesson are sourcing, contextualizing, close reading, and corroborating. Just for the sole purpose of this video, we're going to be talking about the first 2, sourcing and contextualizing. This chart holds very important, crucial information for you as far as the 4 historical reading skills go. With each skill come a set of questions that you should be asking. By using these skills, students should be able to do the following. And here are some examples of student prompts or lead-ins to discussions. So again, for the purpose of this video only, we will be talking about sourcing and contextualizing. Sourcing. These are the questions that a historian might ask if we're trying to verify the source or where it came from. Who wrote this? What is the author's perspective or point of view? When was it written? Where was it written? Why was it written? And is the artifact or source reliable? Why or why not? By sourcing, students should be able to identify the author and consider the author's purpose or perspective in producing the document or artifact. They should be able to hypothesize what the author will say before reading the document. And students should be able to evaluate the source's trustworthiness by considering genre, audience, and purpose of the document. Obviously, we cannot have a small group discussion at this time. However, I'm going to have you do a small assignment on Canvas relating to the student email I received last week, and you will be answering questions in regards to sourcing and contextualizing. So, remember, in sourcing a document, we ask the following questions, essentially the 5 W's. Who wrote it? What is the author's perspective or point of view? When was it written? Where was it written? Why was it written? And is the artifact or source reliable? Why or why not? Our second historical reading tool that we are going to learn about in this lesson is contextualizing. Historians can ask such questions as when and where was the document created? What was different then versus what was the same? And how might the circumstances in which the document was created affect its contents or what it says? By contextualizing the document, students should be able to understand how context or background information can influence the contents of the document, and students should be able to recognize that documents are products of a particular time and place, meaning they only happen once. And again, I'm going to ask you to look back at that student email and use contextualizing questions to answer things about that particular email. When and where was the document created? What was different then versus what was the same? And how might the circumstances in which the document was created affect its content? Tomorrow we will start number 3 and 4 for your historical reading skills.